saw that in Egypt there are a lot of Ahlul Bayt who are there and they moved there and they're buried there. And I was thinking that from Ahlul Bayt, it's that they did go all over the world. It's not that they stayed in Medina and they made that their center and they made that their capital. They spread all over the world to places that were not their home. And I'm trying to understand that quality in them, that they go out and they don't go back. Like Hazrat Nafisa, she didn't go get buried in Medina, she's buried there. And I'm asking if you can open that up, that they don't take, that they are willing to go to far places and sacrifice their own, you can say their right.
People speak about the Ahlul Bayt as if they love their family most. Other than Allah, they love themselves most. Yes? People talk about Ahlul Bayt as if, other than Allah, they love themselves most. They are the most exclusive. Exclusive means they stick to themselves. They stick to their ideas, they stick to their properties, they stick to their bloodline. This is wrong. Yet you see the Ahlul Bayt, they're the opposite of this. Ahlul Bayt don't even own anything. They don't pass it down. There is no connection that the general people have towards their own land, their own property, their own culture, their own lineage. The rest of the world, they have that. Dynasties, you may call them. Yeah, the Ahlul Bayt is the complete opposite. If anything, they're anti-dynastic. Because they go, they spread out, they don't collect. They go and they marry with people that are not from themselves. Hazrat Hassan, radiallahu an, 300 nikahs he made. That's why up till today, you see from the Hassani and Husseini, there are people who are Ahlul Bayt from Arabia, from Africa, from China, from Indonesia, from the East and West. Because although they're Ahlul Bayt, like the Kaaba, they're for everyone. And their connection is not just by blood, but their connection is by spirit. And when your connection is by spirit, then all the things that dynasties, they say, that are important, and dynasty is preservation of power and wealth, right? Preservation and also that to expand. All those things don't apply to them. Because their preserver is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They say, Hasbunallah ni'mal wakil. So it doesn't matter to them so much. And they keep on continuing, especially that sunnah of Rasulullah alayhi wasallam, which is hijrah. Hijrah. What everyone is doing here, that so many of you are complaining, is hijrah. Because hijrah now, you move from a place of comfort and familiarity into another place that not only is uncomfortable and unfamiliar, but you move to have a mission to bring the light of the Prophet ﷺ and to practice that with others who don't even speak your language, who don't belong to your family, who is not from your ethnicity, not from your group, nothing. It's very difficult to do, but that is the sunnat of the Ahlul Bayt. What is it? Because their attachment is not of this land. Their attachment is not something physical that the rest of the world is attached to. Keeping quiet a little bit and giving sohbat. Their attachment is to the duty to spread the light of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And that was the mission that was given not only to the Ahlul Bayt, but to the early Sahaba Kiram. And to all believers, not only from them, up till Judgment Day. Because now, all the things that we've listed, what is home, what is family, what is land, what is wealth, what is familiarity, all that is very different for the Ahlul Bayt. In fact, for all of that to mean the same as with everyone else, that is a disservice to that title. And every one of them, especially in the early days, knowing that when they do migrate, when they do make the hijrah, not only are they giving up everything, but they're also giving up their time. They're also giving up what is familiar to them. Those ones who want to just be alone, those ones who only just want to be away from everything and be by themselves and just to worship, they were not even given that opportunity so much. Because now the job of the Ahlul Bayt is what? To serve the Ummah. It is to serve the Ummah. It is not to serve themselves. We see so much going on now that we are surprised. You cannot stop people from loving the Ahlul Bayt, of course. But when it is extreme and when those ones who are claiming that, but they're not holding on to the biggest sunnat, and when the biggest sunnat is the sunnat of sacrifice, when they're not holding on to that, then it's not so good. So this is a very huge topic. As many people will claim this and they will claim that. But when we scratch the surface a little bit, is your life a life of service, a life of sacrifice, and a life of forgiveness, a life of just swallowing difficulties? I say very few fit to that category. As people are becoming very selfish, they're quick to curse, very intolerant, very impatient. And don't forget, one of the definitions of why is this way called the golden chain? Do you know why? You don't know. One of the definitions, book, Sufi definitions, one of the definitions, because this is the way of the Ahlul Bayt. Concentration saying, oh, it's away from Hazrat Ali. No, Hazrat Ali is also, Hazrat Ali belongs to this way. And that this is called the golden chain because the Ahlul Bayt were in this way. It has to be. So, understand that and look at your lives. Look at our lives. Understand that and look at our lives here that sometimes you're saying it's so difficult. Why we have to put up with so much difficulty? The difficulty maybe is not because of lack of food or this, which is not something to be something small that we should just laugh at. Oh, yeah, okay, we have this, but we have bigger problems. No. The blessing that we have reached to us, clothes we have, roof over our heads, food and water, and our honor. and that we are protected from all harm is not something small. Just that, Shafi'i used to say, just for the blessing of one eye, you should go to sajda from now until Judgment Day. And if you go to sajda from now until Judgment Day, thanking Allah just for the blessing of one eye, even that is not too much. We cannot do, but we can make intention. When you do not have this intention, that's when your heart will start to darken. When you don't even put, because the intention comes from the heart. So, all these things that we have, and the sickness living here is that we look down on the luxuries that we have, and we say this is nothing. And anything that disturbs our status quo, that disturbs our comfort level, you know, this whole disease of everyone becoming an introvert, this is not Islamic. It is coming from a lot of selfishness, a lot of arrogance, because it is very selfish to not want to deal with anyone, but deal only with yourself and the people that you choose. That's very selfish. That's very elitist. That's very spoiled. And Islam and the Sahaba Kiram, by the Holy Prophet ﷺ's teachings, is showing us that you have to mix. We have created you in different tribes so that you'll find each other and learn from each other. And the Sahaba Kiram were coming from so much differences and difficulties, and they came together and they built something. And you see the beginnings of new civilizations and new empires in Islam, especially spirituality. It is not coming from things that are the same, that has been the same, but things that are so different that they come together, and the secret is placed there. Then check yourself. Once you say, oh, I would rather be with my family, with my husband, with my wife, with my children, rather than to mix around, to be with others, then that is just the beginning. Because we are meant to be in Jamaat. That is in order. Not saying you don't love them. Of course, love your children, love your husband, love your wives. Yes, love them. But it is very easy in this world, part of the world, to just go inside and shut the door. Whether it is physically you're doing it, or just psychologically you're doing it, you shut the door. You've seen it. Person can even be here, families can be here, physically for years, but they've shut that door years ago. Yes? You see them shut the door. They're really not interested. So that when they exit, I mean, for me, it's not a surprise because they've shut the door. And you know people whose doors are open. How you know people whose doors are open? How you know people whose doors are shut? Let me tell you one small secret. People who shut their doors, they don't want to deal with difficulties. They don't want to deal with politics of the dergah. They don't want to deal with people. You find it a burden. They don't want to carry anyone's burdens. They don't want to help. You see people that their doors are open is when you see one day they're good, next day they are not so great. Because why? They're trying to help this, they're trying to do this, they're breaking their brains trying to do this, they've broken their hearts trying to help people. They're always being involved, learning, helping. It is very easy to say we are different. But even that is a falsehood because we are not different. Our spirits were together from the day of Kalubala. How different are you going to be? So you know that, and you're coming here in front of me saying we are very different. Something is wrong there. So you must find that our commonality is this way. It's just not just with the shahadat. It's not just with prayers. It's not just with belief. Our commonality is together with ihsan. And with ihsan, you need guidance. And that is our commonality. Because on the day of promises, we were not just by ourselves in our own little lanes facing Allah. We were together and we were behind someone. We were behind our Shaykh. So yeah, this is the way of trying to learn and trying to understand what are these qualities of the Ahlul Bayt. It's not just to say, oh, Ahlul Bayt, kiss their hands, kiss their feet. Now you see so many places where it's such an extreme, and those ones, they let them to happen, and it's become very corrupt. It happens. It's not that. It is to understand what is that sacrifice. What is that fight? What is that sacrifice? What is that desire in you to always be on the move? You understand? To not get stuck to something. Okay, this is okay for now, but we must be on the move. We must make another migration. You do this, okay, this is good, we must make another migration, another this. I don't mean physically. I mean with your thinking, with your feeling, with your dealing with people. People, the opposite of to migrate is to get stuck. People, so many times, they are stuck. They're stuck with themselves or they're stuck with each other. This one is always like this one is always like that, or I'm always like this, I can never change. Then you are stuck. But we must make that hijrah, and we not only make that hijrah, the real hijrah always involves death. Because we are in hijrah right now. We are in transition to the other side. So this is tariqat now. To live, to pursue, to move, and to die, and to live, to be reborn, and to keep on doing that. What makes the Ahlul Bayt Ahlul Bayt? What makes the Prophet ﷺ the Prophet of Rahmatil Alameen? Because his rahmat is for the whole alams. And those Ahlul Bayt, they must have that rahmat. They must. Which means that if necessary, they're going to put their families last. If necessary, they're going to sacrifice their families for the ummah. We are learning that from a very real but very small level, where you're meeting here every day, your kids, my kids, everyone's kids mixing together, testing us every day. How far does it go? Our love, our attachment, our sincerity to this way, our obedience to our ego, how far does it go? All this are conversations that are happening, fights that has to happen every day. Otherwise, you cannot emulate. And you're going to be in trouble. It is not a choice. It looks as if we are choosing tariqat. We're choosing which way. There's not a choice. Allah has already chosen it for us. And this is our duty. It's not a choice. People think tariqat is a choice. It's not a choice. It's been chosen for us. And it is an amanat. It is a trust that we have to carry. You took that bayat and you lose the trust. And in that bayat, we're reciting the holy words of Allah, saying Allah's hand is above our hands. You lose that trust, then you lose that trust. not too good. But you're holding on to that trust even when it is difficult, it's painful, it's this, that. Like I said, Allah is praising that ant. You think Allah is not going to praise those ones that in our weakness we're trying to hold on in this Akhir Zaman to this way? Oh. People are stuck. They don't make the hijrah. They're still stuck. This Ahlul Bayt, they could say, oh, Medina is our homeland. Or they could write about it. So many Sahabi Kiram, when they moved from Mecca to Medina, they would still write. They write poetry. They were missing Mecca. Of course, Mecca has a pull. Of course, the love of the land is part of your faith, yes. But the meaning of that is not this land. It is the land there. That is part of our faith. But the Ahlul Bayt, maybe I'm mistaken, but you don't really see them speaking about, oh, how I miss this and I miss that, going back, or this. No. Because like the Holy Prophet, they understand that their life is a life of sacrifice and a life of always migrating, always traveling, and always helping people, trying to. And especially in these days, people, they get help, they kiss your hand. One thing they are questioning, they are not liking, they're ready to give everything up and to curse at you. It happened in that time too. It happened to Hazrat Hussein, didn't it? 1 minute they're saying, we love you, we sacrifice everything to you. The next minute, they betrayed and they say, kill them. They're not from us. We have to try to take lesson from this. But their concern is the Ummah. That's the concern of the Prophet ﷺ is. And they are not stuck with this dunya. They're not even stuck with their families. Their aim is always find a way to spread this mercy. Even if it's one person, it doesn't matter. I was asked when I was in Egypt. And so you're speaking to all these people and you know that they're not going to retain so much. They're not going to believe so much. Then I said, I know. But our job is just to say. And if in that moment they believe and they have love for our share, now that is going to be safety for them in the hereafter. And that is what they are going to ask us. That's what it is in the Akhir Zaman. What else can we hope for people to do? Not only their understanding, their spirituality, but their physical situation is not going to allow them to have that. That's why the blessings that we have here, you cannot imagine. May Allah save all the believers, inshallah. Al-Fatiha.